So Earthfall has been out for over a month, and you might be wondering, with all the reviews that came out on Steam being a bit mixed, have holospark just packed up shop and done a runner? No, of course not, they're not Starbreeze. holospark have actually been really busy listening to the community's feedback and working towards making more content. What's surprising here though is that they've already started aiming to have a bunch of content released over the next 3 months. What happened was at the end of July, holospark posted a roadmap giving us a rough idea of what we can expect soon, and from what we were told, we would know that August and October would have the most stuff to offer. August bringing us the new level, some new enemies and some new weaponry, while October ending off the 3-month roadmap has a new game mode, player progression and much more that hasn't been shown off yet. So from that alone, Earthfall seems to have a pretty promising start to its future, and with the first 3 updates named the Inferno update going live the other day, things are definitely heating up. That was awful, why the hell did I write that? Well, for a first update, I'm quite surprised as the bloody thing is like 7.5 gigs. From what's on the roadmap though, that seemed a little bit too much. So, you know what, let's have a quick look at the patch notes just to see what's actually changed. So first off, they fixed the performance with a Glintech sniper rifle, added some fire weapon skins, new reaction animations for the enemies, weapon and character customizations now saved, resolved an issue causing the cursor to move without the controller being touched, added a fire slapper enemy, added an AFK timer to the player lobby, fixed settings saving even after relaunching, fixed collision on the van of a high ping scenario, updated gun skins to display correctly for joining progress players, updated the revive animation to sync correctly, adding a welding torch for Inferno, updated smoke and fire effects, added D-pad support for scrolling through customizable items, fixed an issue not allowing clients to chat in lobbies, and you know, oh fucking Christ, I'm not going through all of these. I have better things to do in my time, you have eyes, go read them. There's a fair bit to go through, that wasn't even half. Right, with the fixes and tweaks aside, the most important part of this update was the new content they've added, which is a new weapon, some new little mechanics, some new enemies, and a new level, as well as some little freebie cosmetics on the side. So first things first, introducing to the Inferno update, the alien roster has actually been given a bit of an elemental alternative. Fitting into the theming of this update, we now have a fire-based alternative for the Sapper and Spitter. Instead of just having acidic enemies in the game now, we now have aliens that will cause more of a problem over time, blocking out certain areas, for example temporarily with fire, which compared to gas can do a lot more damage to the player. Design wise, they basically just changed the green spots to red, and honestly I didn't really expect much else. It's a change of element type, so not much is really needed in regards to changing the model, but it's a change nonetheless, and it does change things up a bit for the rest of the game, and you know what, I'm fine with that. Also on a plus side, sappers actually now hold more of a threat as a fire type, especially when they explode in your face, because damn, who knew fire could hurt you? But also in the sense of if you hit them away, you're more likely just going to block off an area you need to go to, so now you actually have to think if you want to hit them away or just walk backwards for a moment. Speaking of fire though, as a freebie for all players, why not put some style into your guns with the new fire pattern skin? Free for all players alongside some basic shots for all the characters as well, but that's not really important. What is important is that you can heat things up with the new compact SMG, or better known as the P90. With a rapid fire, you'll chew for ammo pretty quickly while unloading onto the horde of aliens being thrown at you. It's a good alternative to the standard SMG. There's no real major factor or stats to point out. It can be printed, and it's supposedly in the original campaigns. One minor issue I do have with this weapon though is that it doesn't actually use the skins from the hazmat pack, it's only the flame skin, which isn't a major problem, but it's definitely a slight letdown in the sense of cosmetic packs. With more weapons coming out in the game, the earlier cosmetic packs are going to be pretty much worthless at some point, but hopefully that's something they change in the future. And while yes, that is really nitpicky, it's because I couldn't really think of much to complain about the new map. Honestly, while yes, it's only one level and it's the same length as the rest of the levels, structure, pathing and overall objectives of this level are actually pretty fun, and it's a clever way to introduce the new enemy types, especially with the whole Inferno theming behind it. The basic premise of this level is you're dropped off to do a cleanup job to clear out the water pipes for the resistance, as the previous team stationed there was completely wiped out for obvious reasons. While progressing through the level, you have a bit of specific printing to do, with certain bits need to be picked up and then given to the 3D printer for a blueprint schematic, and this kind of just gives the 3D printer a little bit more lore, I guess. I mean, you can 3D print a valve, so that's something. As I mentioned, there is actually a new mechanic in this level, which is a welder. And while yes, it's just another interaction type, the interesting thing is the welder actually says how far you got through welding, so ideally if you were doing it and then got taken down, your teammate can just carry on from where you left off, which is a little thing, but a lot of these games don't have that kind of system in place, so that's actually quite surprising. From there you basically just run ahead, go up to the water tower, destroy some whatever the hell they are on it, like sacks, and then you basically have to make an escape. It's a pretty straightforward map, but it has a lot of fire in it. It's a good way to introduce new enemies, and honestly it's quite fun, so I have no real major complaints in that department. Overall though, the Inferno update is definitely a step in the right direction for the future of Earthfall. A couple of things could have been improved, but overall for a content update that's completely free, I'm happy with it. The new weapon is great, it's fun to use, the enemies are a nice change and it makes the maps a bit more fun to play, and best of all they fixed the fucking sniper rifle frame glitch, so I can actually use it again. However, there is one problem with this update that ruins the entire game for me. And that reason is there's still no bloody crosshair option.